This podcast is sponsored by ScienceBasedLearning.com. Discover your passion for languages with our innovative ebook, audiobook, and video system. Maximize retention using spaced repetition. Start your journey today.
Implicit versus explicit language. Learning challenges for adult learners. Explore the challenges of implicit and explicit language learning to find the best approach for adult language acquisition and fluency. Implicit versus explicit language learning challenges. When it comes to learning a new language, adult language learners often face a variety of challenges, particularly when distinguishing between implicit and explicit language learning methods. Understanding these challenges can make the learning process smoother and more effective. From the perspective of the science of language learning, it's crucial to realize that these two approaches engage different parts of the brain and require different strategies to master. What is implicit language learning? Implicit language learning involves acquiring language skills without consciously focusing on the rules or structure. This is the way most children learn their first language, by being immersed in the environment, listening, and gradually picking up patterns over time without formal instruction. In this type of learning, exposure and practice are key. Learners absorb vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, and intonation naturally through communication and context without explicitly studying the rules. Example: understanding and using phrases like "what's up" or "I'm good" without memorizing grammar rules. Challenge: because there's no formal study or rule-based instruction, adults may feel frustrated if they can't pinpoint why something sounds right or wrong. What is explicit language learning? Explicit language learning is a deliberate conscious process where learners study grammar rules, vocabulary lists, and pronunciation guides. Adults often gravitate toward this method because it feels more structured and familiar, similar to traditional classroom learning. Here, learners are made aware of the rules governing the language and actively try to apply them. Example: learning conjugation tables, memorizing vocabulary, or practicing sentence construction exercises. Challenge: it can become tedious or overwhelming, especially when trying to apply rules in real conversation where everything moves fast. Common challenges in implicit language learning. Slow progress, implicit language acquisition tends to be a gradual process, and adults may get impatient waiting for results. Lack of awareness. Without guidance, some learners might not notice important structures or mistakes they need to fix. Limited feedback. Since implicit learning usually happens through natural exposure, there's often little correction or feedback. Common challenges in explicit language learning. Overthinking. Focusing too much on grammar rules can slow down conversation and make learners hesitate. Difficulty in fluency. Memorizing rules doesn't always translate to easy, natural speech. Motivation issues. The repetitive nature of drills and exercises may reduce enthusiasm over time. Adult language learning, balancing both approaches. For adults, language acquisition often requires a balance between implicit and explicit methods. The science of language learning shows us that combining these approaches can give the best results. Implicit exposure. Listening to native speakers, watching movies, reading articles, and practicing conversation help build natural instincts and understanding. Explicit study. Setting aside time for grammar review, vocabulary practice, and structured exercises can fill knowledge gaps and improve accuracy. This combined approach leverages the brain's ability to process language both consciously and subconsciously, making it easier to both understand and use the language effectively. How to learn a language efficiently. When learning a new language, consider these tips to overcome the challenges inherent in implicit and explicit learning. Immerse yourself. Surround yourself with the language through media, conversation, and everyday use. Engage in active study. Use textbooks, apps, or language classes to focus on grammar and vocabulary. Practice regularly. Short, frequent sessions using spaced and repetition reinforce memory and retention. Use real-life contexts. Applying language skills in practical settings helps bridge the gap between knowledge and use. Seek feedback. Find language partners, tutors, or use language apps that offer corrective feedback to fine-tune your skills. Tools that help with both learning styles. Thanks to advances in the science of language learning, many tools today blend implicit and explicit learning smoothly. One great example is ScienceBasedLearning.com. This innovative platform combines a simple ebook, audiobook, and video language learning system with an online practice app that uses the science behind spaced repetition to maximize your learning and retention. Whether you're more comfortable with explicit lessons or prefer immersive practice, this system addresses both by offering structured study materials alongside opportunities for practical application. For adult language learners seeking an effective science-backed way to improve their skills, checking out ScienceBasedLearning.com is worth your time. Final thoughts. Understanding the differences and challenges between implicit and explicit language learning can help adult learners make informed choices about their study methods. Neither approach is perfect on its own. Instead, language acquisition thrives when adults learn to integrate the natural, intuitive exposure of implicit learning with the clarity and focus of explicit study. By using the right balance of both, adult language learners can overcome common obstacles and take steady, confident steps toward fluency. After all, the science of language learning isn't just about memorizing rules or repeating phrases, it's about combining the best methods to fit your personal learning style and goals. Ready to make your language learning journey more effective? Check out ScienceBasedLearning.com, featuring a simple yet powerful language learning system backed by the latest research, with ebooks, audiobooks, videos, and an app that helps you practice efficiently every day.